invite Bob Francis and Ken Baxter up here to join me for a moment before we dive into God's Word together. Both Ken and Bob are on our finance team, and at the last finance team meeting that we had, we began to talk about our Now's the Time campaign and renovations and how much we've been able to accomplish in even under a year. We come up on our 1-year anniversary of the Now's the Time campaign in April, and God has accomplished so much. This newly renovated worship center, the welcome center, the hallways, the second floor classrooms, the new children's church and preteen room, and the discussion began around our youth room and the needs that are there. And so the finance team and I took a little field trip up to the youth room, and Bob Francis, this was his first time to get to see firsthand the youth area and the space that they worship in each and every Wednesday and have Sunday school in. And Bob, could you share some of your impressions about that tour with the rest of the congregation?
Sure, thank you, Jason. It's embarrassing to say that was my first visit to the youth area because that's one of the most important areas in the church. They say that for church health and church growth and bringing new people in, that the nursery, the children's area, and the youth area are the most important. So on our original Now is the Time campaign, we identified 7 areas that we could accomplish with the pledges that had been given. And it has been exciting to be a part of the finance team and see that provision of God's roll in through your all's giving and on a very timely manner. And so Ken will explain a little bit more about how we are, where we are today, but the money has been there. And if later on we'll talk about of the 7 projects, 6 of them have been completed, and the last one is the youth area. And like Jason said, we went up there and I thought they were going to roll some pictures, but there they go. I've never heard a complaint about our youth area from any of the youth, any of the workers, or anybody, but to bring people in that are new to the church or that our youth want to invite. Our youth are performing ministry in there. Garrett's doing a great job, but the facility needs a lot of improvement. It's just rough looking. And so it's important that we take the next step, get this last project finished, and we're going to discuss a little bit more about how those funds will come about. But as my family, I've got a youth that's a grandchild. I've got 2 more on the way, and everybody represented here has got kids, grandkids, or friends of kids, and it's important to all of us. And I just feel like we need to get moving, and our family's behind it.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob. And thank you for your service on the finance team. Appreciate you using your gifts in that area. Ken, as most of you know, is our chairman of our finance team. He's one of our deacons and been a leader here at the church for a long time. And Ken, tell us more about what's on this infographic that's in their newsletters and what we're trying to communicate to them about that today.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about, where we've been, where we are now, and where we're going. And this infographic card is a good thing to, kind of use as a go-by there. We have, on this page, you can see 6 projects that we've already done. We've been on the NITT Now's the Time program for about 10 months, maybe 11, coming up on a year. And so we have these 6 projects that are completed. And the next one is the youth area. Heard the money come out. We've spent about $1.7 million. You see this on the back side of the card. We've spent about $1.7 million. We've taken up in our Now's the Time giving and our insurance money and some money left over from Saltgrass and a little bit of the garage sale money. We've got $1.689 million that we have made available. That's so we're pretty close to being even. With $31,000 to go, about 1.8% to go. And at our present giving rate, we've given about $844,000 in the last 10 months. So we're coming in about, on average, $84,000 a month. It's front loaded a little bit with the incoming, but I'm sure that this $32,000 will be even by the end of the month. In the next couple of weeks is kind of where we're going now. And so that's where we are. where we've been, where we are. Let's talk about where we're going. We've already talked about where we're going, so this is not to ask you where we're going. We've already voted on where we're going. We're going down this list. We voted on that almost a year ago, that this is the list we were going down. And we also voted in another way. You know, in church, you vote twice. You vote with your mouth, and sometimes with a hearty amen and a big toothy grin, but you also vote with your money. You know? I mean, that's just the way it is. You vote with your money. And we did. We voted with our pledge cards, and we said we're going to give this much money. And you know what? We've been extremely faithful to that. Not just extremely faithful. We have been beyond faithful in that. Every month we have more money come into the Now's the Time program than was pledged. We are overachieving on that. So do you think that we're going to give the $550,000 that we have pledged that we said we were going to give this year and next year? Oh, absolutely. Our track record is that not only are we going to give that, we're going to give more than that. So I'm not asking you what we're going to do and where we're going to go. I'm just wanting to know when. When are we going to do it? We've already said we're going to do it. We have a track record that we're going to do it. We have voted twice that we're going to do it. And the next step you see on this infographic card is about $495,000 for the youth rooms. But the kicker is we need to do that work during the summer. We don't want to do it during the school season. We want to do it in the summer. So we have a choice to make. Do we let the contractor go ahead and get lined up now to start and do it this summer, or do we wait until next summer? We already said we're going to do it. We've already said we're going to give the money, and there's no question about that. It's just a matter of when. We need to give the contractor several months of runway to get his materials and his manpower and that kind of thing lined up. So we kind of need to tell him pretty soon if he's going to do it this summer or next summer. And that all depends on when we as a church family are going to give. Like I said, we've already voted to do it. We've already said we're committed to giving the money, and we've got a great track record of saying we're doing it. I need to know when so I can manage the cash flow of the church. So we're going to ask you next week to give us a clue. Now, we want you to tell us how much money you plan to give this year, between now and December, toward the Now's the Time program. We already know that you're giving in accordance with your pledge. Not asking you to reconsider that. And we're not twisting your arm. We're just saying, help us plan. It would be a shame, at the rate we're giving money now, it'd be a shame if we got to September and we had $495,000, but we didn't tell the contractor to go ahead and start because we didn't know when that money was coming in. So we're going to ask you to just tell us when, and then we'll look at that and we'll decide whether we want to tell them to start this summer or wait till next summer. Also, if you're giving money that was not pledged, just tell us how much you plan to give between now and the end of the year. The reason I say now and the end of the year, it's not because the project's going to take that long, but our invoices, our cash flow, it delays, it lags behind the work for about 2 months, maybe a little more. As a matter of fact, in February, we paid $15,000 toward the Now's the Time stuff that was going on in here, which you would say has been complete for some time. But yeah, there was a few things going on that came up. So we need the money to pay the contractors. We'll start paying them a little bit in June, probably not a lot. The big payments will come August, September, October, and we'll clean it up, finish up in November, and there'll be a little bit lagging over into December if it goes kind of like the other projects have gone. So next week we're going to have some cards to pass out, and we want you to put down on that, or you can do it on the hub, or you can send an email to Lisa. No one knows what your pledge is or what you intend to give except Lisa Junio. She keeps books, and she keeps that information. The budget finance team does not know. The pastors do not know. It's extremely confidential. We don't want to know. We just need to plan. So, if that's not clear, call me. Call anybody on the budget finance team. We're all happy to help you. We think that this is a ministry that we're engaged in, and we don't think anybody cares about it. My wife never asks me any questions about money at the church. She don't care. I think it's a great ministry, and I love doing it. And if you get a question, that makes me know that you like the ministry too. So call me.
Thank you, Ken, and thank you, Bob. We do have a great finance team and those who are gifted in this area and filled with character, and we really are available to be able to answer any questions that you guys have. We certainly also want to make sure that this is the way the Lord is leading you. We don't want you to give under any compulsion. We practice grace giving here, and so as you pray about how the Lord's leading you and the timing of all of that, we're just asking for information, and the Lord will make it aware what his plans are through you as you communicate those things to us. So let's spend a few minutes just praying over the Lord's provision and for his perfect timing in all of this. Will you bow with me?